In this session, I want to show you how we can create a state in app.js and send them as some properties to this particular file. For that, first what we need to know is what are these props? Okay, what are these properties which we are sending it from the parent component to the child component? So for that, what I'll do is I'll just get rid of this constructor from here. Okay, and let me just get rid of these two paragraphs as well. Okay, and as of now I'll not display anything on the screen, so I'll just remove these things. Okay, so it simply says I am and my age is also, it's simply is blank right now. Okay, and we have a student component like this. Okay, now let's come back to app.js file and see, this is where, okay, we have our child component inside our app.js file. So here only I'll say we have a property called as name. Okay, and here I'm going to say in double quotes like this that the name is Raj. Okay, and here I'm going to say we have one more property and we have to put it inside double quotes here like this. So we have one more property called as age, which is 10 like this. Okay, and from app.js, which is a functional component, I'm sending it to a class-based component, that property which is called as name and which is called as age. So now let me save this one and let's come to the student.js file. See, here is where, okay, here is where you are going to print that particular property. So in this class, okay, there is going to be some properties, okay, which is called as name. And here, okay, again I'll use the curly brace and I'll say in this class there are some properties which is called as age, which is just right now, which is arrived inside this particular student.js file from app.js file. So let me just save this one. Okay, let's go to the browser and see, here is where we are seeing our application right now. Okay, so the property is called as name, which is holding the value called as Raj, and the property is called as age, which is holding the value 10 in the screen. Okay, so this is how we pass, okay, some properties from the parent, okay, which is app.js, to our child component like this. Okay, and suppose now what I'll do is, see, I'll just copy this and paste it three more times. Okay, and here let me say this is Raju and his age is 20. This is Rajesh, okay, whose age is 30 like this. Okay, so we have created three child components, and inside every child component we are sending a different property which is having the key called as name as well as age. So now let me save this one, go back to our browser, and you'll be able to see that we have three child components like this. Okay, and right now it is displaying the current state of each and every property which we are displaying on the screen. So this is called as properties. Okay, now here what I'm going to do is inside this app itself, okay, I'm going to create a property. So I'll say like this, constant students is equal to, and I'm going to create an object like this. So an object will have a key value pair. Okay, and here you can also say like this, that we have a variable called as students, and there, okay, I'll just simply create a list. Okay, once again, so I'll just get rid of this for time being, and I'll say here I want to create a state, or you can say some properties, okay, about this particular student. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create uh, a an array like this. Okay, array of objects, three objects I'm going to create because I have three student details to display. Like this I have created three, and just like this, okay, name and age, I'm going to keep a key value pair because this is going to be a JavaScript object. So name, here I'm going to say Raj, okay, and here I'm going to say age is like this, 10. Okay, so this is the first object which I have created. So let me just copy this one, and second list item, as an object I'm going to create Raju, whose age is going to be 20, and here I'm going to put 30. Okay, I'll put this as Rajesh. Now let me save this one, and see, here is where I want to display the name of that particular person. See, this is the name. Okay, and from students I want the name which is at 0 index. So here, instead of doing like this, I'm going to use the curly brace syntax, and I'll say in this okay, in this function, okay, there is a that students, okay, that students is there, and since it's a functional component, you will don't even have to use that student this keyword anymore. In the students, just go to the zero index and just print the name of that particular person. Okay, so that is the property. Okay, that is the property I'm sending as name property. Okay, so here also I'll simply copy paste the code, and instead of name I'm just going to change it to the age property. So let me just grab this only and paste it over here and here as well. Okay, and let's change this to the one index and the two index. So here also let me just change it to one index and two index. Okay, so now let me show you the code and see. As you can see, we have just made a object like this, constant student, and we have three list, okay, an array of three objects. Okay, age and name, and we have just displayed the three student objects like this. Okay, and I have just put the index values for each and every one of them. Okay, now let me just save this one. Okay, and let me just go back to the browser, and as you can see, it is displaying the same details as before. So now let's come back here. Okay, let me just do some small changes in the age variable, and let me show you what exactly I mean. So I'll make it as 40, 50, and 60. Okay, and when I save it, let's go back to the browser, and as well as you can see, 40, 50, and 60 are getting displayed as the age property which we have just changed over here. So let me just bring back them to 10, 20, and 30. Let's save it, and this is how I'm going to send some properties, okay, from app.js file to the student file. Okay, student.js file. Okay, now let me just simply make a small adjustment in this whole this thing. Okay, and let's say margin auto we have kept. Okay, along with that, let's say margin at the bottom. Okay, let's say 2, and let's save it, and let's go to the browser, and as you can see, we have the three border elements. Okay, a little bit of border is there right now with each and every element right now. Okay, so let's go back to the app.js file. Okay, and so this is how we send some properties, okay, from our app.js to the student.js file. Okay, so these are the props and states, how we can send states also as properties, and how we can send props also as directly props. Okay, now small thing I want to show you, like see here we have a class based component. So now let me just simply grab the whole code, comment it, and paste it once again, and convert this into a functional component. So for a functional component we don't require the component class, so let's get rid of this also and make it like a function. So I'll use the parenthesis on this, and I'll use the function keyword just before that, and functions do not have a render function, so let me get rid of that. Okay, and see, now I have simply just converted this into a functional component, and inside the functional component, okay, we just have to say props are going to come over here, some properties will come. Okay, and those properties are the name property as well as the age property. So whenever you have a class functional component, okay, then you don't only have to use the this keyword, so you can simply remove off these things like this. Okay, and can save it, and now it doesn't matter if you have the class based component like this or a functional component like this. Okay, in both the cases, let me go to the browser and show you. It's going to print the same three details which are coming here as a properties. Okay, so please note that whenever we have functional component, we'll not be using the this keyword. Okay, whenever but we are using a class based component, then only we are going to use the this keyword over here. Okay, like this. So these are the two things which you have to remember. It can be a class based component or it can be a functional component. Okay, so this is what is about states and props inside a class based component as well as a functional component. Okay, now let me just go to the app.js file, and let me show you how we can render an entire list. Okay, how we can render an entire list, okay, using the HTML code.